Trump just seized $17 trillion worth of oil reserves in Venezuela. Here's what nobody's talking about, okay? This isn't about oil. This is about the death of the petrodollar. And Bitcoin just became the only escape route for all the countries that are watching. For 50 years, the world ran on a simple deal. Countries needed dollars to buy oil, so they held US treasuries, they played by our rules, and the dollar stayed king. That was the petrodollar system. In a 12-hour military operation, the US captured President Maduro of Venezuela and took control of all the Venezuelan oil reserves. 303 billion barrels of oil, worth around $17 trillion. Here's the part that should terrify every other central bank on earth. Trump just proved that sovereign assets can just be seized at any moment, no negotiation, no warning, just gone. And that's exactly why Bitcoin's pumping right now. Because Bitcoin is the only asset that can't be seized. With guns, sanctions, other military forces, you can invade a country and take their oil, you can freeze their assets, you can take their gold, but you can't take their Bitcoin, not if it's held correctly. All right, let's break down what's actually happening here. Trump announced the US will be selling large amounts of oil from Venezuela. He said American companies will spend billions of dollars building out Venezuelan infrastructure and they'll be reimbursed.
In other words, we'll be selling oil probably in much larger doses because they couldn't produce very much because their infrastructure was so bad. So we'll be selling large amounts of oil to other countries, many of whom are using it now, but I would say many more will come.
Now, on the surface, it sounds like a humanitarian mission, right? Help Venezuela, sell some oil, rebuild their country. But let's look deeper here. Okay, so this move is going to do three things. It's going to flood the global markets with cheap oil. You can see here, Venezuela has the largest oil reserves in the whole world. But flooding the market with cheap oil is going to crash energy prices. So two, this is going to re-oilize the dollar. In the past, Saudi Arabia was hedging east, BRICS was pushing other alternatives. Now the US just got a whole new fresh oil of supply directly into the dollar's demand. And three, this is going to send a message to every sovereign nation that your reserves aren't safe and your assets can be captured. So your sovereignty is really conditional. And that is really the real story here. So while everyone's asking, was this legal or justified? All the other central banks in the world, all the other countries are thinking, are we next? Trump already warned Cuba, Mexico, Colombia that they could be next. So what do you do if you're a sovereign nation watching this? You buy Bitcoin, and that's exactly what's happening. So look at this chart here. This is the number of nation states holding Bitcoin. It's gone from 2 in 2016 to 20 in 2025, and it's only accelerating. Another one to look at, it's El Salvador. They've been kind of the original country to first buy Bitcoin and convert all their reserves to Bitcoin. So you can see they're just adding to their holdings. They have 7,521 Bitcoin, worth around 685 million, and they're just buying more and more Bitcoin every single day. And Abu Dhabi Investment Council has also tripled their Bitcoin exposure just in Q3 of last year.
We know in terms of their holdings and when they added to this position?
Yeah, so you can see that they've more than tripled their position right in the weeks and months up to the sell-off. So, it hit a record high in October, and we can see that they've tripled their position during the third quarter. They disclosed a position at the end of September that was worth around $520 million. And we can see that this is really going to be a part of their portfolio going forward. They're saying that they want to diversify it, and they really see it as the digital equivalent of gold.
And by the way...
Right. You can see here, they basically disclosed 520 million in Bitcoin holdings. Japan is now buying Bitcoin with state-backed funds. Czech Republic bought Bitcoin for testing purposes. Russia's probably been mining or buying Bitcoin since 2022 when they got kicked off the SWIFT system by the US. And this is the crazy part. These aren't like crypto enthusiasts, okay? These are countries, these are sovereign wealth funds, central banks. And they're not buying Bitcoin because it's cool or something. They're buying because they saw $17 trillion worth of oil reserves seized overnight. This is game theory playing out in real time. When the world's reserve currency can be weaponized to seize sovereign assets, you need an alternative. And Bitcoin is the only credible one. And the timing of all this, it's almost too perfect. Yesterday was January 3rd, the 17th anniversary of the Bitcoin Genesis block. Satoshi Nakamoto launched Bitcoin with a message embedded in the first block, right over here. Chancellor on brink of second bailout for banks. And that's what he put into the first block here. So Bitcoin was created as a response to government bailouts and monetary manipulations. And now, 17 years later, we're watching governments seize sovereign assets, print money to cover it up. I mean, Satoshi called it. But here's what's really wild. The whales are buying, and they're buying hard. So you can see here, the whales over the last couple of weeks have just been accumulating Bitcoin faster than ever. Right at the end of this year and also in the beginning of 2026. And we don't know these whales. I mean, the whales can be BlackRock, MicroStrategy, other countries, sovereign wealth funds. They're basically absorbing all the supply. And speaking of MicroStrategy, though, here's Michael again, and he's tweeting out, is it going to be orange or green? So probably he's going to buy more Bitcoin tomorrow. He's going to announce it. They're almost at 700,000 Bitcoin. I feel like they're going to get to 1 million or something eventually. And it's crazy. He's not even slowing down. But it's not just countries and whales. The entire system is preparing for this. So Trump the other day confirmed that the U.S. Senate will vote on the crypto market structure bill within like the next 12 days. And this bill will, finally provide some regularity, clarity, and define which crypto assets are securities and which aren't. Here's a little video from Raul on this.
From when I first got into the space, we said we were going to front run Wall Street. That was 2013. We've always said it, and here they are. When I've been speaking to the sovereign wealth funds here this week, and they've all got crypto in their books now.
And they're openly talking about their allocations.
And not only that, but the Treasury Secretary of the United States, who was an ex-macro hedge fund manager, friend of mine, he openly talks about how important it is. We've got Donald Trump talking about it. We've got everybody talking about it. We've got every financial institution building on stablecoin rails. We've got once the Clarity Act is passed, then all of the banks will start building out their crypto rails for everything. And if you speak to everybody, the banks need the clarity, the asset managers need the clarity, the corporations need the clarity, everyone needs the clarity of the Clarity Act. Once you get it, it's the green line. They're all waiting for what exactly is, which things are securities, which are not, how does it all work? And once you've got it, we've got a roadmap. And everybody wants to go. Everybody wants to build on these rails, particularly the financial system, because it's so efficient and so fast to do things.
All right, so he said it the best. I mean, once that bill is signed, the real money is going to move in. This is going to be like the biggest capital inflow in history. And it's already getting built upon. It's just once it kind of gets approved, it's just going to flow all in. I think I showed this in the last video, but here's all the top 25 banks. And again, they're all building crypto rails already. It hasn't been approved yet, the crypto market structure bill. But once they get that green light, I mean, all these not yets are going to be announced and they're going to be launched. And trillions of dollars from pension funds, 401ks, and just other institutional capital will just flood straight into Bitcoin. So let's connect all the dots here. Trump seized Venezuela's oil, proving that sovereign assets aren't safe. The countries are responding by buying Bitcoin. Whales are accumulating at record levels. The crypto market structure bill is about to pass. And banks are ready to onboard institutional money. This is really the perfect storm. All right, here's the wildest idea I've seen. This tweet from Invest Answers. What if the US started selling the Venezuelan oil on the global market on their behalf, accepting Bitcoin payments to build up Venezuela's strategic Bitcoin reserve and make Venezuela great again? Bitcoin seems to like the idea. I mean, yeah, Bitcoin's up since Maduro has been captured. It sounds crazy, but we're living in crazy times, and Bitcoin seems to like the idea. But I guess we'll find out. Look, here's the bottom line. We just witnessed a major shift. This isn't about Maduro. It's not even about oil. It's about what happens when a sovereign asset capture goes overt. Because when the world reserve currency can be used to seize $17 trillion overnight, people lose trust in the system. And they buy the only thing that government can't seize. The Venezuelan oil is now US oil, but Bitcoin is still the people's money. Alright guys, if this video helped you understand a little bit more about what's happening, Subscribe. I break down macro stuff like this all the time, every single week. And let me know in the comments, do you think more countries will start buying Bitcoin after seeing what happened in Venezuela? And do you think US will actually accept Bitcoin payments for oil? Adoption is accelerating. I think 2026 is going to be the year that changes everything. And we'll find out, I guess. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.